Do you know, how do you get your kids to face into adversity? Again, I can only, like, something I'm doing, and sometimes I feel quite hard, a little bit cruel, but like, say I've my kids doing jiu-jitsu now.
You feel cruel for having them do jiu-jitsu?
No, they didn't want to do it initially. Like, they wanted to do it,
But it was hard.
but they couldn't name what it was, particularly my son. And I see a lot of myself in my son. So, you know, like, and sometimes you don't like what you see very often, but then that's what, you know, and I have to recognize that.
Yeah.
He liked the idea of doing it, but when he came against, you know, when he had a partner that was better than him, like, he realized he had nothing. Like, he liked to say he did jiu-jitsu, but he had only started. So I was like trying to teach him, and he didn't want to do it then. I was like, I can't. Now I was like in this dilemma. I was like, I can't let him walk away, because then I know what's happening here. It's his ego. I know that he wants to be the best at this before and Tyga's very sporty. He always wins, you know, he wins his sports day and he does well and all football and everything. Like, so he has that natural instinct, but that's only natural, and that's not to be celebrated. Like, I want him to learn how to get better at something too. Do you know, there's no point celebrating him for, oh, great, you ran first in a race. But that comes naturally to you. You weren't out practicing everyday racing, like, it just came to you. But this now you've met your match. And like, I seen, like, because I was watching for a few weeks, and he was going with a guy that wasn't giving him anything. He wasn't putting up. But then when he was put with somebody that was tough, he didn't want to go back. And I was like, and it was so, I was like, I am so, like, not a bad parent, but I'm like, I had to draw on everything to go, I cannot not let him return here, because he has to face. And so I had to, like, so again, and you know, they're your teachers. I was like having to tell him that he was given a gift in that tougher partner, because that partner will teach you how to get better. Because it's easy if somebody flops over and you go, oh yeah, I know how to do whatever, a choke, or I know how to do it. But you don't, because that guy wasn't giving you any resistance. But now you've got somebody who's going to force you to learn how to do the move better. And it's hard. And I know, because I've been there, but you will get better. And like, so it was really hard, but we went to the grading. They had a grading night to get their stripes. And again, had to drag him to that. And again, you know yourself, if you're trying to get kids to do something, the easier thing would be to go, forget it. Like, but I was like, okay, get them down to grading. Like, he was being really annoying. Like, but I got him down. He got, like, we did the session, and he got, I think, like, whatever, a few stripes on his belt. And he ran over to me, and the smile on his face. And he was just like, Mommy, don't ever listen to me. I'm never not doing jiu-jitsu. He loved the recognition. And
he knows he earned it.
He earned it. He earned his stripes on the belt, and he was delighted with himself. So it was like, I had to push through. I had to question myself, am I doing the right thing? And to a point, yeah, maybe it's, you know, at a point where I know, like, if they just naturally kind of maybe veer and swap into something else, that's fine. But in that moment in time, I knew he wanted to leave because he'd met somebody that had challenged him.
Yeah.
And he wanted to leave. And I couldn't let him do that.
You know, what you're saying is magnificent. Like, you're questioning, are you a good parent? And I would argue you're one of the best parents from just what you've explained to me there, because you understand the importance of personal responsibility and empowering people. And why I'm so passionate, like, I'm listening to your story there, I'm like goosebumps listening to your story, because I learned the importance of empowering people from a health perspective when I worked in the health industry for 10 years. When you give people that sense of empowerment, you give them responsibility for something at their health. It's the most important thing they have. Mm. They blossom, they flourish under that. The outcomes, the health outcomes for people who have ownership and responsibility is insane. So if you can translate that to everything else in your life, you're creating superhumans. The reason I brought up, because you mentioned it there about parents defending their children because it's almost an extension of their own inadequacies and fears and vulnerabilities. You're doing the opposite. You're empowering your son and your daughter because you've experienced the growth that you've personally gained from going through difficult things, and you want that for your children. That's the best gift you can ever give your children, in my opinion. The best gift you can ever give them is that sense of empowerment and personal responsibility. Now I know why you love Jocko Willink so much. And the way you've answered my question there, you illustrated so many points I wanted to cover in this conversation in that one story about raising children. This is why I think it's so fundamental, because we're trying to pass on the values that we have so we can understand more about ourselves in our parenting styles.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe, and I observe, is what I was trying to say earlier on, I didn't really say it very well, is that a lot of people don't have that sense of personal responsibility, and outsourcing your sense of responsibility to the government or the doctor or the other political party, they're the problem, is becoming accepted. And that's why I'm worried about my children, because if they fall in with a group and that group can influence them and tell them that everybody else is the problem, these people are the problem that you're unhappy, and these people are the problem that you're not succeeding, and you do get a medal for coming 73rd in your race because everybody gets a medal. I have a massive issue with that, and people disagree with me all the time, and that's fine. I'm not trying to tell anyone else how to parent or how to be, but I'm really fascinated when I hear someone like you speak, because you said this once before, maybe it was in the presentation you're doing for Brian, and it just stuck with me from then. You spoke about this idea of giving this to your children. And it just hit me straight in the head, because like, I need that at 34. I want responsibility. I want to learn and understand how to take control of my own life. And I've stopped getting angry at the government and at everybody else. And people are like, oh, why are you not more upset about these other things? And I get triggered by certain things, sure, like everybody. But I'm like, because it's my responsibility. I've just listened to Jocko's book again, and it's just the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Extreme ownership. I'm like, that's scary. I don't want to take ownership. And he says it again, and he says it again, and I'm like, right, I'll try this. And now that I'm trying it, I'm like, geez, I feel pretty powerful here. I feel a lot better. It's really hard to do. It was really hard for your son to go back and have his ego bashed. I don't want to get my ego bashed. I hate it.
Yeah.
But on the other side, now I've gotten a little taster. On the other side, you're like, whoa, this is what I get from letting your man hand me my ass for a couple of years before I figure out what I'm doing. I become this thing. Well, it's really, really powerful. I want my kids to feel that. And to bring us back to the first point, why do I do this on mic? I want other people to feel that. It's powerful because I saw it in people's eyes with their health. That's what inspired me to do this whole thing. People they come back and say, you've changed my life. Not necessarily to me, to the doctor. And he'd say the same thing that I'd say. It's like, we didn't do anything. Like, you did
chose
it.
Yeah, we gave you information. You chose to use it and apply it.
It's powerful for me to feel that. Like, there's an ego in me. It's like, I gave them that information. It's amazing. But it's also powerful to watch that person go, oh my God, and they break out of the depression, or they rekindle a relationship with their partner, or they give up the drugs or alcohol, or they get their job back or something. Like, that is real power. Real power.